If you write a letter to the mayor's office complaining about a police officer and you put your name and your address, we will take care of that complaint. We will follow up on that citizen complaint. So we handle anonymous things through traditional channels in a certain way, and we've just sort of applied that to the online world, saying we're not responding to anonymous rumors or character assassinations, because a lot of this stuff is negative. There's not a lot of positive out there. Although Good Morning Gloucester is a blog that is amazing and it's
Very
positive. And that's probably the only, that one example of a website that I'll go on and make a comment on, rarely, but I'll do it on there. So it's, you kind of feel your way through it. There's really no handbook at this point on policies or implementation of the different types of options. I write a weekly column and it runs every Saturday. And some people would say, well, that's a blog. Well, okay, maybe it is, you know. And I'm religious about it. I love doing it. It's one of my favorite things because it makes me step back and look and say, okay, what's going on in the city this week? What do I think citizens is on their mind that they're curious about? And so it's about a 600-word column, and it runs in the Gloucester Daily Times every Saturday. So I do that. I also do a weekly, or it's not weekly, it's a monthly call-in show. So I go to our local cable station, and I'm interviewed for a half an hour with the host, but they flash the phone number, and so people can call in and ask the mayor a question. And I don't know what the questions are going to be, and so it's live, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'll have to get back to the caller on that. But most of the time I know what the answer is, or I can, you know, provide enough information to satisfy the answer. But so I use, as you can see, I use every single avenue, and it's not self-promotion. It's communicating the message of what is going on in the city, which was your original question, is how are you, you know, the city's undergoing a renaissance in a lot of ways, and part of it is because people are feeling more confident. They're saying, oh wow, maybe Gloucester is a place we want to move or start a business or invest in, because of the communication. If we're solving our problems, we're overcoming our financial constraints. Is it ideal? Can we pay for everything all at once? No. Is every road going to get paved? No. But people see progress. They know we're headed in the right direction, and that gives people confidence to invest in the city.
Yeah, I think we have seen a lot of positive improvements with the new, I feel like Main Street's having a lot of renovations. The new signs are really, you know, really engaging. The new website just launched last week. So what do you feel like has worked really well? What big challenges do you feel like are you still facing? Of course, all the roads can't get paved at once, but so what's worked really well, and where are you trying to take it?
Well, you know, it all comes down to just the fiscal discipline and management. So we don't spend money we don't have, and telling people no or not now. It's just being truthful to people. That's what served me well, is to say to Main Street, you know what, we're going to pave Main Street, but you're going to have to wait probably 2 years on lights and sidewalks unless we get some grant money. And as long as you're, like I say, you're making that progress and you're being honest with people. If I promise people, okay, we're going to pave, get you new street lights that are historically, you know, relevant, and pave new sidewalks, and then you only pave, you've just let down everybody. But if you say, we're going to pave, and you do it, and then give them a sense of when other things can happen, you know, you're building that trust and that momentum for people to do the improvements, and that's where it has to come from. It has to come from private industry. You know, Main Street is vibrant because the businesses there are located there, they're paying rent there, they're planting flowers there, they're watering their flowers, they're picking up their trash, they're painting their facades. And all of a sudden it's this spill. The city didn't do it, but we paved and we showed that we cared, and that we're doing everything we can to make them be successful in managing their expectations. So that's what's happening throughout the city, whether it's along the waterfront, along Main Street, Anything regarding our school facilities, for example, that's something that we have to take a hard look at. But again, we can't fix it all at once, but we'll tackle the priorities.
Now, you said that citizens are getting much more confident in sharing their opinions and really saying how they feel, and I know you have those listening posts.
Right. Right.
But so you don't listen to anonymous calls,
Right.
letters, or blogs.
Right.
So so how do you really feel like you get some positive or negative feedback?
Right. Well, one of the methods that, people, let's put it this way, people are not shy about contacting the mayor's office. People call, and they call, and they call, and they do leave their name. You know what I mean? So, and I get lots and lots of emails with people who identify themselves. So, probably 10% of the communication is anonymous. So just to kind of put that in perspective, 90% of it is people identifying themselves. And of course I get stopped on the street everywhere I go. And people are not shy about sharing their thoughts. So, that feedback is out there, and it's coming in. We have structured that feedback through this concept of listening posts, and we had the harbor plan was just paralyzed. We have a beautiful working waterfront, and no one can agree on what should be done. And so the harbor plan was stalled for 5 years. And I said, how do we break through that logjam? And I said, let's just put it out to the citizens. What are your hopes and dreams for Gloucester Harbor? And we had community meetings, kind of like State of the City, but it was a different agenda. We had 600 people come out over a week's period throughout the city, talking about, well, this is what I want to see for Gloucester Harbor, and this is what it was like when I was a child, and this is what I want for my children. And people were amazing. They spoke from their heart about what they wanted to see for Gloucester Harbor. And so what we did is we captured all that information, we distilled it down into a common set of values that people felt was important. Some of the fringe stuff, you just can't make everybody happy, and you just have to say, okay, that's an outlier, and that doesn't seem to resonate with most people. So you take that core set of values and let it inform your work. And so we rewrote the harbor plan, and there was consensus on it. We had full support across the board on the harbor plan, submitted it to the state, and got it approved. I mean, that made the difference, that we took the citizen input in a thoughtful way that actually took it into consideration and revised something that now people can feel good about. If you go through the motions of listening and you hold a meeting, and that's one of the most frustrating things for citizens. Oh, I went to this meeting and I said this and that, and they didn't listen to me. Well, that person's never coming to another meeting again. You know what I mean? And you get people sort of disenfranchised from their government. So you have to have a forum to accept the feedback, and then you got to kind of do something about it for the most part. And even if it means saying no, or it's not realistic, that's part of that feedback loop. People feel like, okay, well, at least I was heard, and I feel like I'm a part of my local government.